And now for some hot takes on Backstory. So if you've GM'd for almost any tabletop RPG in existence at one point or another, inevitably the topic of player backstories will come up. Some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, probably well-intentioned player is going to offer you a write-up of who their character is, how they came to be the stalwart, dungeoneering, door-kicking tavern wench-ogling psychopath you now see before you, and what's motivating them to take up arms and armor alongside a group of 3, 4, or God forbid 5 other psychopaths. Now, on the surface of it all, player backstories are cool as shit. It shows a level of effort on their part, which can often be hard to come by, especially where newbies are concerned. It also suggests a certain level of investment in the character, who they've clearly put at least some amount of thought into, and also in the world you're creating as the GM, because whatever roving band of cutthroats or tentacle fetishist elder god worshippers you've got waiting in the wings, it's always cool when a player wants to link back to what's already there, or offer you up some inspiration for even more great and terrible things. Efforts, cool. Investments, cool. But let me just make something very clear to you. If you bring a backstory to my table that is longer than a page, I will burn it in front of you. I appreciate the desire to get immersed into the game on a deep and personal level, but too often I see players coming to new campaigns with low-level characters with the role-playing equivalent of War and Peace stacked up behind them. Usually it's edgy and or tragic as well, but that's another video in its own right. Don't worry, we'll get to that. But these players aren't thinking about how their character will contribute to the group narrative and experience as a whole. They're not even thinking about it in terms of these are elements that inform my character. They're thinking of it in terms of when do I get the arc in the campaign that's all about me, myself, and I. Everyone at the table wants to be the center of attention once in a while. We all want great character moments. We all want to be able to do cool shit. Honestly, I'll go so far as to say that if you're not regularly giving your players moments to shine individually, you're kind of fucking the whole thing up, and you need to do better, damn it! But showing up to a table with preconceived notions about this grand adventure that needs to be all about you and your personal struggles puts a lot of pressure on a GM where there's already a lot in place to begin with. Maybe it's just me, but it suggests a certain level of narcissism that I'm not too fond of, to put it really fucking mildly. My personal advice is to forego the novel and just have a couple of sentences in mind about who your player character is. Sentences that you can communicate aloud at the table during session 0. Yeah, Dusseldorf the Battle Dwarf comes from a dwarven guild that specializes in making war machines for nations willing to pay enough. Only now, he's become disenfranchised with the whole making things that blow people up real good thing, and he's trying to do more good in the world, going out in the Forgotten Realms to perform great acts of heroism so he can soothe his conscience. At that point, let the GM ask you any questions they might have, take any notes they want, whatever. And if you see an opportunity later in the campaign to fork in something related to your past, talk to your GM about it. At the moment, if necessary, but preferably in between sessions. If they're good, they're cool, they'll probably work with you. Unless you've got one of those my plot GMs. Those GMs are wrong. Those GMs are bad. Fuck you. Fight me. Again, that's another video. But don't give them your fucking nerd-tastic dissertation and then spend the game frothing at the mouth, waiting for the moment everything gets to be all about you, from your childhood sweetheart to your wicked-minded mentor and your second cousin twice removed. That's not cooperating with your fellow players, that's not engaging with the world, that's shifting around with ants in your pants and thrusting your hand up in the air, shouting, me, me, me. Shut up. I don't care. Roll initiative, or whatever.